Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. So, what was it, 2 days ago I uploaded a profile about, new domain Monarchs post, Supreme Darkness, and the current format of Malice and, well, mainly RYZEAL. It's a struggle, but I feel it's much better than the previous format with Azamina, Fiendsmith, Fire King, and so on. Random duels, with Psytech. I think only the first one was pre-Psytech. If I'm not mistaken, they should be the same build that I've discussed 2 days ago, in real life. Maybe one change. Well, I think it's card for card the same, similar to the, for the Psytech. So the matchup, RYZEAL. The thing with RYZEAL now, it's either Fiendsmith or Mitsurugi. I feel Mitsurugi is much worse, as in going into with this particular matchup, because of the ritual. So it's not really that tied to the extra deck. So you need Fiend, you need Majesty's Fiend or Vanity's, preferably Vanity's Fiend. Droplet is still a big answer for this deck. Imp is fine-ish, but it's mainly Droplet. So anyway, this wasn't the best hand for Fiendsmith RYZEAL. I think there was only the Note, but again, Note doesn't really do that much, even though, there's 3 Bonfire and all the, the bigger engines are there. I guess, the DDD one. Would have been able to attack over which tributes I had on the field? Can't remember. Anyway, both sides. I like the Castura engine. The Castura engine gives you, especially going first, Unicorn into Fenrir, into potential Ogre, or something like that. So that's really solid. The problem of this field is okay. The March, for now, doesn't really do that much. Sure, it protects Erebus, but Imperm, again, doesn't really do that much. Here, in this case, the only card you're basically losing to is Droplet. Always. And, a format where there's hardly any Droplet, which could make sense, you have much more chance. But, and this is, I guess a cool interaction in favor of RYZEAL is they can just send the the aggregator from the extra deck to the graveyard to shut down domain, and that's pretty disgusting. When a certain deck has, I'm talking from the Monarch perspective, when a certain deck has a main deck answer, an easy main deck answer with hardly any downsides to get them bypass domain. Nah, that's not a good sign. If they have it right, the exit RYZEAL. I didn't get the Ice Summon here, I might have missed something. The problem though is that, here in this particular matchup, Lancia hurts as well. You might think that it wouldn't do that much, but it actually does a lot. It prevents a Pantheism, Search, Right, Banish from the graveyard, and that could come up is the Endcamera fight. The Pendulum that, pops itself to draw one, sends itself to the extra deck, then special summons itself to the extra monster zone, and then, when it's tributed, it will be banished. But let's say if Lancia is live, the Pendulum will be sent back to the extra deck. And that's a big deal, because, your domain lock will not be alive. So that's actually a bigger deal than I imagined. So even with the field spell draws, they are not drawing any of their... okay, there's Fenrir for potential interruption, so... there are ways to play around Fenrir and still go off, but here in this case it kind of worked out. But if I'm honest, that Ice before, I guess attack over Fiend and go from there? Probably. I don't think I had a big fallout play after this. So going second, and that's a card I've mentioned, 2 videos ago, is Soul Exchange, new Soul Exchange 1. Very similar to Stormfort, it doesn't target, but it lets you tribute more monsters, so it's not like Stormfort. And in a field with filled with Dweller and Detonator, for example, that's 2 monsters that you can tribute from their side of the field for Erebus, for example. That's really strong, really strong. The problem is Omni negations. That's a huge deal. So the Fiendsmith package, it's getting touched. But the thing here is that I don't have any Monarch in hand. Sure, I can tribute with Unicorn, for example, but it was either draw 2 or force out with Pantheism, the negation, and then Soul Exchange for Unicorn. That feels weird. So I was like, okay, let's use Soul Exchange and then, you know, force out the Omni-Negation and go from there with the 2 draws. But it didn't really work out. So that hurts. Again, 1 Omni-Negation really hurts, especially if it's backed up by Ash and multiple Tantrums. The Bestials are also going second. The thing is that like before, I felt that Druisworm was super strong, like in a RYZEAL field, but you know, they can just use a field spell to negate a monster effect. And with the new Eclipse, they can just Reborn Detonator as well. So Druisworm feels a bit underwhelming compared to the other cards, Stormfort, Soul Exchange. So that hurts. I'm not so sure about, you know, the Bestial package. Same for Nibiru. Nibiru is definitely solid, but awkward situations where you can nib their field, they'll just search, what is it, the equip one. The one that reborns Detonator and go from there. But the thing is that you have a token on field, so that blocks your Kashtira cards, and that came up multiple times. So that's why there is no nib, but you know, nib might be there. And this is actually funny. Like the Goods is an okay-ish card, game number 1. It's basically an extender, as in you can send the Pantheism and to search Stormfort or Domain. But here in this case, Dweller, I guess this is why Dweller is currently banned in the OCG, blocking those graveyard effects. I wasn't able to search the Stormfort, and let's say like if I don't have any cards committed to the field, and then having Dweller and Detonator, for example, that's an okay field to just activate Stormfort and Tribute for Fiend. That's fantastic. Fantastic. You know, get rid of Detonator, and if it's a Fiend, prevent the the Eclipse from triggering, and then rewarning Detonator and go from there. So lose in battle. So the matchup is definitely really rough. I mean, RYZEAL is the top tier deck next to Malice. Obviously, you're going to struggle, right? As in going second, the Kashtira field spell should probably be side decked out as well. It feels awkward when your opponent has Detonator and you have the Kashtira field spell in your hand. So again, Druisworm, I guess, prevents... well, what does it do? I guess it prevents the Fiendsmith from coming out to the field, potentially for the DDD1, or I guess the Fusion Desiree for an Omni-Negation. Sure, it does block Exit RYZEAL from triggering, but their hand was far too good, so it doesn't really do that much. I mean, they can still use Note, right? Or did they already use the sending away the level 6? Anyway, so Stormfort this again triggers Detonator, get rid of the fusion, which is fine. So, and that's why I previously said that the 1-card tribute cards are fantastic, because you can't commit. Let's say I activate Domain, Detonator will just pop it. So you need those 1-card tributes like the Feats. And again, this prevented the Eclipse from triggering, and that's a full RYZEAL package shut down by Stormfort Feat. So get out Domain as well. This board was super weak to Imperm, obviously it is what it is, but now I have an extra layer for defense with the field spell, so now Imperm is not enough, Droplet is enough if it's there. So really looking forward to the YCS Decklist. Going second, you're also side decking triple evenly, evenly matched, still strong, into a board, especially followed by Stormfort. It is for our Soul Exchange. Getting rid of their boss monsters basically. The small deal now, because you're not running any of the Squires, Dia Idols, this feels awkward because again, obviously your opponent, if they know you have Stormfort, they are not going to commit to the field if they can just survive. Because I can't get this, I can't special, well, both cannot special summon, but before you would go for Ados or something. I mean, fair enough, you would probably go for Dia, blocked by the Fiend, but you know what I mean, like Ados, and it will still get blocked by Imperm or Veiler, so I don't know. I think this is fine though. This is why the Kashtira engine is so delicious, getting those 2 interruptions during their turn, potentially getting rid of 1 or 2 cards from their extra deck with Unicorn. That's really strong. And I think this was a very quick game. Like Majesty's Fiend, again, they need Droplet, but with Aether in hand, I can potentially dodge a Droplet and still put a tribute on field with Domain. So that's why Aether is still there. So this is the current deck list. Again, feel free to leave suggestions. Yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. You can sign out. Peace.